Right. Let's go. In theory, the stream should be live. So hello everybody. How's things? How's life? How is the universe? If you're watching this on catch up, the VOD, then feel free to skip exactly 15 minutes in, and that's when the AMD stream will start. But hello to Zen, hello to Brandon, hello to Norman, hello to Bishao, hello to Stefan, hello to Ilya. I'm sorry if I say everybody's name wrong, but hi, how you guys doing? Are you guys excited for the launch? And also, what are your predictions? Like, what do you think's gonna be happening? And probably more importantly, what do you think the new AMD cards? Do you think that the one that they've teased already is the highest end one, or do you think that there's more to offer? How's my bro across the pond? Not too bad. I'm fine. I'm busy. I actually have an Asus Zephyrus Duo in, which is actually a really cool, really unique and innovative laptops. The one with a main display and then a second sort of slim display above the keyboard, and it's really, really, really useful. So I've been checking that out this week, and a few other bits and pieces as well. I built my first PC with it. Nice. With AMD, yeah. So how many teraflops for the biggest Navi? We don't know yet. I'm sure that we will in a few minutes. Hello, Russell. How you doing? And hello, Janny. How you doing? Just trying to keep an eye on both Twitch and YouTube. If for any reason the stream on YouTube starts buffering or whatever else, I streamed this on Twitch as well. I'm gonna drop the Twitch chat link in the chat so you can watch it on Twitch. That one is always a lot more reliable, but if the YouTube stream dies for any reason or starts buffering, you can watch on Twitch if you'd prefer. Hello, Nate. Hello, Essentialist. Did I miss anything? No, it hasn't started yet. I'm starting this nice and early so that I can catch any YouTube stream bugs before we actually see the main video in 11 minutes time. Twitch drives me crazy. How come? I want to see all AMD builds that don't suck at the higher end, around RTX 3080 level. That would be awesome. I really hope so too. The performance that they've showed from the current performance they showed was right between the 3070 and the 3080, which still does mean that it's 2080 Ti territory, which is great. But there is also the 3080 and the 3090, so it'd be nice for that to be a truly competitive area. There's a few things that are inevitable, like YouTube bugs. Yeah, that and JavaScript. Hello, Liam. How you doing, man? I got stung with the Vega 64, so I'm hoping for something better. Yeah, that's fair. They have a bad tendency to ban people. YouTube is bad, but they're worse. Interesting. Is that based on like Twitch as a whole, or more like individual communities? Hello, Beowulf, and hello, Chris. Help! There's a cat on me. Well, move it, and come watch and mod the stream. As a whole, interesting. I can't say that I've had that experience, but I can see how that would be frustrating. Why can't I find the Radeon 7 anywhere? I don't even see it out of stock in the usual retailers. Yes, so I believe AMD was the one who was actually making and selling those. It might have been through a board partner, but they were the only ones who were actually making and selling Radeon 7s. There wasn't board partner versions, and it was a fairly limited card. So yeah, that was... I don't think that they've been manufactured for a little while now. Yeah, Brandon, like I said, you can keep watching. You can watch on Twitch, but you can still comment on YouTube. Obviously, stream stays the same, and the chat that's on screen will still show up messages, whether you're on Twitch or YouTube chat, whatever. But if you want to watch on Twitch, just have the thingy up, the stream up, but then have YouTube chat open. You can even pop out the YouTube chat like I do. That's totally fine. The 7 was a special card, yeah. Also, do you know any way to lower ping when the servers are far away? I just moved from 0 ping to 50 and it sucks. So it kind of depends what you mean by the servers are far away and what's causing the lag. If you're just physically like thousands of miles more away, then there's not much you can do about that, I'm afraid. If you move to an area where your service is limited, then there are some things that you might be able to do, but it will vary what the reasoning is. Ryan, you haven't missed it. It starts in 8 minutes. This is the sort of pre-stream where we're chatting and just talking about what's happening and apparently some tech advice as well. There will be a normal stream tomorrow, and there will be a normal video on Friday as well for the regular viewers. Hello from Glasgow. Hello. I used to live there. Very long time ago. Well, not quite, but still. Do you think they can improve their drivers and software features as well as the performance gap? So the software and drivers are kind of ever improving with them. Obviously, there was quite the buzz around the like black screening issues and that kind of thing. And I'm sure that to a degree, those sorts of issues will continue for time immortal, both for Nvidia and for AMD. But the software features, I would argue that AMD has a habit of producing more features, and then Nvidia will take whatever that feature is and refine it. Nvidia does launch their own new features as well, obviously RTX, and I want to say that G-Sync was out before FreeSync was, although technically speaking, FreeSync is just the VESA standard, which was built into a lot of monitors already, so yeah, but in terms of straight up software features, things like Radeon anti-lag, Nvidia only just added Reflex this year, whereas AMD's had it for a good year or so. And then, Radeon Chill, a load of other stuff. So software-wise, I think it's probably reasonably balanced and obviously will improve over time. The performance gap is probably the bigger one, and the one that I'm more worried about them not matching or being able to keep up with. The card that they showed off or they talked about already, that one sits right between the 3070 and the 3080 in terms of performance. So unless that is the top end most card, it won't quite match up, which will be a bit of a shame. I'm hoping that it's not. I'm hoping that there is, one more thing. And then there's a higher end version that will outperform at least the 3080. I kind of doubt if it will outperform the 3090, but yeah, we'll have to see. Hopefully they'll get GPUs to compete with Nvidia pricing now. I would agree 100%. Big Navi price leaks. That's quite a lot of cards, more than I would expect actually. I'll be interested to see if they do launch, what's that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 separate cards? Might be a bit much. Ordered another card for this. A nice one. It's a bit earlier, technically, daylight savings and all that. God, I hate daylight savings. But fair play. Enjoy. 6800 XT might what was shown. Hopefully, we can certainly hope, yeah. Absolutely love my 3700 and 2070 in the past year or so. Nice, yeah, that's a really good combination. You get some really good performance with that, so yeah. These headphones are not SteelSeries, Audio-Technica ATH-G1WLs. They have a detachable mic that plugs in there, but obviously I don't need that today, so it gets off. Black screen issues means the card is broken. No, it was a software thing where you could roll back the driver version and it was fine, which was the problem. Perfect chance, Ash. Should I EC and dyno my car or buy a Radeon? What car is it, Mark? AMD's only hope is to do what they did with Ryzen, performance at cheaper price. Yeah, that's like that's what they tend to do anyway. The whole part of the 56 and 5700 XTs is that you were getting almost 2070 super performance for 2060 super money, which was the real value for money proposition. It's why a lot of people went with them. But yeah, fingers crossed they can handle availability well, indeed. The event is starting in 3 minutes, so we'll swap over to me being in a tiny little box in the corner and the stream up on where you currently see my face. Non-GP based question: do you see 250 gig M.2s as a purchasable product, or would you go with 500? Especially if you're using it as your main OS drive, 500 is really very nice. You can get away with 250, still not much has changed, but I run a 1 terabyte M.2 and I currently have 300 gig free, so so the bigger you can get, the better, really. Volvo S80 upgraded brakes and suspension. Ah, yes. See, it's probably already doing well, so maybe get the GPU, and then the ECU and dyno next. What's the upgrade? Like, what do you go from to horsepower torque wise? I need to reflash my RAM 2500 and transmission. Nice. Want to pull a 38-foot climbing trailer. Nice quality. That is very nice. What games do you play that you're not able to run 20 series cards? None, because I've got a 1080 Ti personally. I play pretty much anything I want. I figured that's what you meant. Yeah. That's very nice, Will. Yeah, decent. JS, that you could get an upgrade. Yeah. Oh, very nice. Exit velocity, that's very fancy. It is a beast. You have to return the 3080? Yes, I always have to return everything these days. Yeah, I have it for another couple of days, I think, probably. Maybe a week at most. I think I got a few more coming, but I still don't have a 3070 or anything like that, so yeah, we'll see. Actually, slightly messed up timings on video. Do you need a 3080? I think that'll be the one that comes out on Friday, but yeah, we'll see. Right, we got about 60 seconds, a little bit more to go for the AMD stream. It's not really a stream, it's just a YouTube video that's premiering, but we're all very excited, so let's watch. Depending on what AMD shows, I might upgrade. That will go to Nvidia. They're way too spenny. Yeah, that's fair. I'm gonna stick my headphones on so that I can start hearing when it starts, and you'll also hear when it starts. And I will swap everything over. Hype indeed. But I'll switch over to the screen. Go. Now I'm in a little box. That one. And then I'll full screen it when the stream starts. Pretty obvious, I think. I have 10% of all the 3080s made. I'll only have... Yeah, fair enough. How to legally sell kidneys. Wait, this is Google. The number of times that me and my friends have joked about that is unbelievable recently. Hoping for a 3080 equivalent at $600 to $650. I hope so too. That would be very good. But we'll have to see. Right. Starting in a second. It's a little outside. How's that for volume? You have to let me know. There? What is that? I have a work meeting. No! Come on, just stick around for another 20 minutes and you'll see everything. Live. Good now? Cool. Right. The mic is slightly quiet. Good? Okay. Right, well, I'll leave it at that for now. Maybe I'll pump this a little bit. But yeah, let's go. Oh, I keep minimizing the YouTube chat. Hopefully MSI will let our sister companies sell this VGA's double price auctions. Yeah, I thought so. Snacks that are ready? Yeah. Not long now. Beautiful. Right. I hope it's cheaper. So do I, man. So do I. I'm really, like, I will be very blown away if there is a 3090 competitor. If there is a solid 3080 competitor, I'll be very pleased. And if the one that they showed is the highest, then I'm going to be a little on the sad side. Like, it's still going to be very impressive, but it will be a little bit underwhelming. Right. Let's go. Are you ready for some graphics card history? Because that's what it's going to start with. And a very long disclaimer. Oh. Okay. Hype. Have we seen this trailer already? I want to say we have. Yeah, me too, Ben. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we've already seen this video.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you all for joining us today for this second half of our next-gen PC platform launch. I loved seeing all of your excitement when we introduced the Ryzen 5000 series a few weeks ago. It was actually the most watched launch video in AMD history. And I must say, we're very proud of what Zen 3 brings to gamers. But today is all about Big Navi. I'm really excited to show you the new RDNA 2 architecture and our full stack of Radeon RX 6000 series products. As you know, we brought the first generation of RDNA architecture to market in 2019 with the Radeon RX 5700 XT. And with the combined launch of the 5700 XT and the Ryzen 3000 series, AMD became the first company to introduce a high-performance CPU and GPU together. And we delivered a winning combination of computing and gaming performance, including CPU and GPU of the year in 2019 from PC Gamer. Now, 2020 is really the year of the gamer. I know many of you can't wait to get your hands on the next-gen consoles. Whether it's the Microsoft Xbox Series X and Series S or the Sony PlayStation 5, we are so proud that AMD is enabling these incredible gaming experiences, which is why we like to say that AMD is where gaming begins. Now, earlier this month, I showed you our new AMD Ryzen 5000 series, the world's best gaming processor. Our next-gen Ryzen processor combines absolute performance leadership in single-threaded performance, gaming, and creative workloads with leadership performance per watt. And for millions of you, it's a drop-in upgrade to your existing AM4 motherboard. Now, as successful as
Yeah.
we've been with Ryzen,
Maybe for value for
many
money?
of you have asked us to compete at the highest end of gaming GPUs as well. And
Ooh.
today, we're ready to show you exactly what we've been working on. I'm so excited to show you the Radeon RX 6000 series. It's absolutely the most powerful gaming GPU we've ever built. I think you'll be pretty pleased with what you see. I often talk about the fact that we're on a journey, and we are on a journey. Just like with our Zen CPU architecture, we're on a multi-year journey in GPUs with our RDNA
That graph
architecture.
doesn't line
We
up.
designed RDNA specifically for gaming, and our first-gen RDNA products delivered 50% better performance per watt over our GCN architecture. We wanted to take another big step with RDNA 2 and deliver another 50% generational improvement in perf per watt. And with RDNA 2, we also set the very ambitious goal to deliver leadership gaming performance. And now I'm very happy to show you for the first time Big Navi. This is the chip at the heart of our high-end Radeon RX 6000 series. 26.8 billion transistors built with leading-edge 7-nanometer process technology. Big Navi is our first product powered by RDNA 2. We have made incredible progress on the architectural front. And now let me turn it over to AMD fellow Laura Smith to give you more details on the architecture.
Thank you, Lisa. Our graphics architecture roadmap has a clear goal: gaming leadership across the ecosystem. The GCN was a great architecture, but we knew we needed to rethink graphics and build the best engine for the future. We wanted to build a set of technologies that game developers could use across all platforms. The first major step was RDNA, introduced last year. RDNA was a new architecture and used a 7-nanometer process node, which helped us with the large initial gains. We committed to you that our engineers had plans in the works for RDNA 2, and we would be back quickly with another significant improvement. By combining our expertise in CPU design, deep gaming history, and broad ecosystem partnerships, RDNA 2 is built to be the gaming architecture for all gamers across console, PC, and beyond. We had some very ambitious goals with RDNA 2. Significantly higher performance, 50% improvement in performance per watt, and new hardware features. Individually, each of these goals is
New
challenging.
hardware features, anybody?
When combined, they become extremely difficult because as you push performance, a natural side effect is more power. New features also mean more computation, further challenging both speed and power metrics. For RDNA 2, we made significant gains in all these areas.
Yeah,
The
there'll be a
compute
history
unit
exam
is
after
the
this.
core of the architecture. We advanced all aspects of the compute unit design, leveraging techniques first developed in CPUs. We deployed pervasive fine-grained clock gating, reimagined the pipeline to aggressively maximize performance while minimizing data movement. In combination, these elements made the compute units 30% more energy efficient, allowing them to be pushed faster. Gaming at 4K requires more data to be brought into the chip. The amount of data more than doubles as we move
like
from
that red doesn't line
1440p
up.
to 4K.
Can't
The
quite
more
see it, but-
efficient the memory subsystem is, the higher fidelity the images are, and the more you can push the frame rates. We took a new approach to solving this technical challenge for gaming and deployed a graphics-optimized, high-density, high-speed cache based on the Zen L3 cache. We call this the Infinity Cache. The Infinity Cache minimizes DRAM bottlenecks, latencies, and power consumption. Our specialized Infinity Cache, combined with a 256-bit G6 interface, delivers more than twice the
So it's still
effective bandwidth
GAR6.
of a traditional 384-bit G6 solution and at lower power
It's still
consumption.
not bad,
High
but-
frequency is important for gaming performance. RDNA 2 is built with custom libraries and high-speed design flows, maximizing frequency in 7-nanometer. With RDNA 2, our silicon design and architectural improvements, we are able to deliver 30% faster frequencies in the same 7-nanometer process node. Pulling all this together, the RDNA 2 architecture beats our aggressive performance per watt goal, achieving 54%. With RDNA 2, we also focused on bringing new hardware features into the architecture. We partner closely with Microsoft on DirectX 12 Ultimate features, including DirectX ray tracing,
Ooh.
variable rate shading, mesh shaders, and sampler feedback. RDNA 2 will also support Microsoft Direct Storage API. We're excited about this new
That's interesting.
API that will enhance the gaming experience by significantly reducing game asset load times from large SSDs. We compared the performance of RDNA 2 to our prior generation. And when we put it all together, on average, RDNA 2 delivers double the performance and with great power efficiency. We are so proud of what we've accomplished with RDNA 2, and we are not stopping. The team is executing to plan, RDNA 2 is here, and the RDNA 3 team is well into execution. Let me welcome Scott Herkelman to show RDNA 2 in our
Advanced
new RX
node.
6000 series products.
So 5 nanometer. That'll be interesting. The next gen of cards. Although comparing to 5700 XT and saying
Hello
double
to
the
all of the
performance
gamers tuning in, and
quite
welcome to our
makes sense.
Radeon RX 6000 series product reveal. As a hardcore League of Legends and Borderlands 3 player and playing these games on our RX 6000 series over the past few weeks, I'm so excited and proud to be here with you today. Allow me to introduce you to our brand new AMD Radeon RX 6800 XT graphics card. The 6800 XT is purposefully designed to play all of your favorite AAA games at 4K and below resolutions, and at the highest quality settings available. It comes with 72 compute units and runs with a game clock of over 2 gigahertz. This card features a 2.25 gigahertz boost clock that pushes some of the highest frequencies we've ever achieved. All
16
thanks to the
gig of VRAM,
incredible
though.
work done by our engineering team on the RDNA 2 architecture. The 6800 XT will also feature 128 megabytes of Infinity Cache that is power efficient while driving the bandwidth needed for high resolution gaming. Paired with 16 gigabytes of blazing fast GDDR6 memory, you'll be ready for the most demanding high resolution games that you want to play. And we've delivered all of this incredible performance with a total board power of just 300 watts. As you can see, the 6800 XT not only delivers on 4K 60 frames per second, but in most cases, it overperforms. We've been maxing out all the settings in games like Battlefield 5, Borderlands 3, and Call of Duty Modern Warfare, and the performance has just been awesome to experience. Let's take a look at how the 6800
Watts
XT
isn't
competes
bad.
head-to-head against the latest
For a
offering
4K
from the
card.
competition. Here, we compare their best API scores to our best API scores, the best versus the best. And as you can see, the 6800 XT trades blows and has some significant wins across a variety of titles. And it does all of this at
Interesting.
less power consumption than the competition. For the 1440p gamers out there, we have some great results for you too. Over the last several years, more and more gamers have adopted 1440p monitors as their display of choice. Here are the same games we showed you before, running the same best versus best API scenario at 1440p resolution. I personally love seeing so many games running at over 100 frames per second with all of the settings maxed out. This is just an incredible amount of performance. All in all, the 6800 XT is a fantastic choice for enthusiast gamers. We even have more performance we are delivering with 2 very cool features. The first is a one-click overclocking button we've built into our Radeon software package that we call Rage Mode. Now, Rage Mode automatically takes advantage of the overclocking headroom built into your GPU to give you every bit of performance it has to offer. And the second is made possible because of the fact that only AMD can deliver both high-performance processors and high-performance GPUs. We call this new feature AMD Smart Access Memory. AMD Smart Access Memory unlocks the greater amount of high-speed memory from the AMD Radeon RX 6000 series graphics cards to the AMD Ryzen 5000 series processors, and it delivers additional levels of performance in games. Simply pair these components with our 500 series chipset motherboards, enable the setting in the BIOS, and the performance uplift becomes automatic. When you combine AMD Smart Access Memory with the one-click overclocking of Rage Mode, you'll get a boost in performance in many of the games you love.
Well, that's interesting.
We're seeing up to a 13% performance increase, and that's before game developers begin to optimize for this new capability.
At 4K.
Now, we know a lot of you absolutely love frames per second performance just like us. However, we can also improve the game experience by reducing latency. The differences of milliseconds of latency in a competitive game can be the difference between a major win and a major loss. Last year, we pushed the industry to recognize there was a better way to provide competitive gamers with less latency from mouse click to the screen, giving competitive gamers who own the RX 5000 series a serious leg up on their competition. Today, we are pushing the boundaries again and further reducing latency in competitive games for even better results. Combining the latest implementation of Radeon anti-lag with the FreeSync monitor can reduce lag in your DX9 and in your DX11 games.
Radeon
In
boost.
Fortnite, for example, gamers can realize up to 8 milliseconds of latency reduction by simply enabling this feature in Radeon software. More recently, we introduced Radeon Boost, a unique feature that's a step beyond anti-lag. For select games, Radeon Boost offers dynamic resolution in response to your mouse or controller inputs, leading to higher frame rates and, as a result, quicker responses to your input. Both Radeon Anti-Lag and Radeon Boost can be enabled via the Radeon software that comes with your graphics cards, and neither of them require a proprietary API or a game integration to provide latency-reducing benefits. As you can see, the combination of these technologies can contribute up to 37% latency reduction in highly competitive games like Fortnite running at 4K.
Epic.
Now, performance is king, but let's talk for a minute about how we are improving the visual experience as well. With full hardware support for DX12 Ultimate, the Radeon RX 6000 series is ready to enable ray tracing and variable rate shading in upcoming titles. We've also expanded our library of Fidelity FX features to work hand in hand with ray tracing, compute, and shader effects to enable the higher level of visual fidelity while ensuring high frame rates. For DX12 Ultimate, we've added an optimized denoiser for ray tracing effects and a variable rate shading algorithm that can adapt image quality based upon luminance and motion. We've also added a suite of compute-based effects to be used alongside ray tracing, like optimized screen space reflections and an optimized ambient occlusion. We're always looking to help developers with new initiatives and are already working on a super resolution feature to give gamers an option for more performance when using ray tracing. As of today, our AMD Fidelity FX supported games list has grown to 35 titles using a variety of our features. So let's take a look at some of these new features in an upcoming game with never before seen footage from Counterplay Studios and their fantastic game, Godfall. Godfall is a brand new third-person perspective, next-generation looter slasher that challenges gamers to engage in high-impact melee combat as they hunt for loot, equip legendary armor, and defeat vicious enemies. Leveraging the latest DirectX 12 Ultimate API, Godfall features DirectX ray tracing, variable rate shading, and supports Fidelity FX cast to deliver incredible levels of stunning fidelity. I personally can't wait to play this game, and I think it looks absolutely fantastic.
It does, essentially.
Now, let's hear from a few more of our game developer partners about the work they've done with us on RDNA 2 and what you can expect in their games coming soon.
I'm here to talk about Far Cry 6 and some of the new technologies we've been collaborating with AMD on to make our game the most immersive and beautiful Far Cry ever. We've been working together to take full advantage of the new Radeon RX 6000 series and RDNA 2 architecture for best possible experience. We've been very impressed by AMD's latest tech and joined forces to bring Fidelity FX cast, DXR ray tracing, and variable rate shading to Far Cry 6.
We're using VRS Tier 2 to use a compute shader to generate a control texture which analyzes the luminance and gives us control at an 8x8 tile level as to what shader rate we're going to be using. This enables us to render much more quickly but keep the same quality level.
Yeah, bitrate died
We're
on that one.
excited to team up with great partners like AMD to bring some new features to World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft is built on a custom engine using the DirectX 12
using
Ultimate
RTX
API.
broadcast.
Another great feature on the RX 6000 is DXR ray tracing. Here you can see ray tracing evident and how the shadows are interacting with your character. What you're seeing involves incredibly complex computations on the RX 6000. This is a level of realism that hasn't been possible until recently.
Which one's on and off?
The RDNA 2 architecture and the Radeon 6000 series allowed us to introduce some of the latest DirectX 12 Ultimate technologies into our engine. Real-time ray-traced shadows allow us to introduce additional shadow casting lights into the scene that provide much more immersion and detail into the world.
Over the next few weeks, developers of these incredible games will show never-before-seen gameplay with gorgeous graphics that use a combination of ray tracing and fidelity effects running on the Radeon RX 6000 series graphics cards. Be sure to check out AMD.com starting tomorrow to see more. I'm happy to announce that the Radeon RX 6800 XT will be available on November 18th, starting at $649.
Okay.
But we are not done yet.
November
Today,
18th.
we are also announcing the Radeon RX 6800 with 60 compute units, a 1.815 gigahertz game clock with a boost clock of over 2.1 gigahertz. It will feature the same 128 megabytes of Infinity cache and be available with 16 gigabytes of GDDR6 memory with a board power of just 250
16
watts.
gig.
The Radeon
on the
RX
lower
6800 is a fantastic entry into 4K gaming, delivering more performance than the 2080 Ti, which was
So the
launched at
6800 is
$999. The 6800 delivers over 60 frames per
3070.
second in all of these games, giving you the confidence you need to step into the 4K gaming experience. That same great performance extends to 1440p resolution, where the RX 6800 tears through the latest games, delivering about 18% more performance than the 2080 Ti on average. The Radeon RX 6800 will be available to gamers starting at a price of $579 on November 18th. Now, let's bring back Lisa
How much is
to
the
wrap things up.
3070 in the US?
Thanks, Scott and Laura. The AMD Radeon 6800 XT and 6800 deliver simply incredible 4K and 1440p gaming experiences. This is the
Oh,
power
dear.
of RDNA
Okay.
2. And once we add the smart access memory technology, gamers can
that
even
needs
get
to be
higher
cheaper.
frames per second when pairing Radeon 6000 GPUs with Ryzen 5000 series. Now, I saw online that some of you were wondering which big Navi product we previewed during our Ryzen 5000 launch earlier this month. For the record, that was the 6800 XT. But you know, we always save the best for last, and I always get the most fun jobs.
One
So
more thing.
today, that means I have one more GPU to show you. We didn't stop with the Radeon RX 6800 XT. We knew that the RDNA 2 architecture could give gamers even more. I'm so excited to share with you for the very first time the AMD Radeon RX 6900 XT. Now, isn't this
Nice.
just absolutely gorgeous? And you'll see that it's actually relatively compact for all the performance that it delivers. It's actually the same size as our 6800 XT card. Our top-of-the-stack Radeon GPU is built for the ultimate in 4K gaming performance. The 6900
16
XT
gig, though.
combines 80 compute units with a 2.25 gigahertz boost clock to deliver even more performance at the highest settings. With 16 gigabytes of graphics memory,
800?
the 6900 XT is ready for the most demanding next-gen games. And with the power efficiency of RDNA 2, we've been able to deliver all of this with a total board power of 300 watts. Now, Laura showed you that we achieved a 54% generational improvement in perf per watt
Hey.
with the 6800 XT.
That graph now shows
With the
65%.
6900 XT, we improved things even more, hitting 65% more performance per watt over first-gen RDNA. I'm so proud of our engineers who worked incredibly hard to optimize every aspect of RDNA
900,
2
800?
to achieve this performance.
What do you reckon?
Now let's see how all of this translates to gaming performance. Running at 4K with the highest settings, the 6900 XT looks absolutely fantastic. It's extremely competitive
Like,
across the
wait
board,
for reviews,
consistently
but-
delivering high frame rates in your favorite games. Just take a
Wow.
look at the performance we see
Look
against
at
the competition in Battlefield 5,
Rage
Call of
mode
Duty,
and
and Gears of War
smart access
5.
memory.
All of this is at lower power with a smaller card form factor. Now, let's talk about price and availability. The AMD Radeon RX 6900 XT will be available on December 8th, starting
I know
at
it's a good deal compared to the
$999.
3090, but oh.
You asked for AMD to bring the highest graphics performance to the gaming market, and we're doing just that. I hope you now feel that with the Ryzen 5000 series and the Radeon 6000 series, AMD is your best choice for your next generation PC gaming platform. Whether you want a game with ultimate performance and AAA titles at 4K resolution, or you're an esports fan who needs incredibly high frame rates and responsiveness, across the board, for every gamer at every price, AMD has the CPU and GPU combination for you. So I hope you're as excited as we are. We can't wait to get these products in your hands. So look for the Ryzen 5000 series starting November 5th, the Radeon RX 6800 series starting November 18th, and the Radeon RX 6900 XT starting December 8th. To wrap up here, this has been quite a journey for us, and I'm incredibly proud of our CPU and GPU teams who have worked years for this moment. AMD is delivering the best to the industry. We want to thank all of you for your passion and enthusiasm and for always pushing us to be the best.
So there you have it. Oh. So. Well, that's interesting. I am quite surprised, I'll be honest. The cards look awesome. I am very excited about the probably the 6800 XT. The thing for me is that the 6800 non-XT, that just sounds too expensive. We do have to remember that AMD does now have a habit of, debating pricing. The last time that they launched GPUs, they said, oh, it's going to cost this much. And then the day before the launch, they were like, oh yeah, by the way, it costs way less. So I can only hope that they do that here. Zen, the 6900 XT is going to cost $1,000 US. So there's that. The 6800 XT is gonna be the interesting one. Etty, you were very right there. The fact that there's no ray tracing numbers is gonna be very interesting. With that said, I honestly don't know how many people legitimately care about that. I mean, there's 240 of you watching. Let me know in the chat. Do you care about ray tracing? Like, I know that you're here watching AMD and AMD GPU streaming, so you're probably slightly biased towards not caring because AMD hasn't had that yet. But from someone who is relatively agnostic to platform, I have an AMD CPU and I have a NVIDIA GPU at 1080 Ti. The majority of the time I really couldn't care less, and I've tested with plenty of RTX cards and it hasn't really made a difference for me personally. So no, a bit, nope, no, don't care, don't care, but maybe a tiebreaker. Yes, I care. Fair. 28 Ti, couldn't care about ray tracing. Yeah, fair. Yeah, so I think the consensus, I think Tambur is probably right there. I want a card that supports it, so I care a little bit. But most people, at least from this chat, which, like I said, biased and all, is probably don't. What's the 3080 alternative? The 3080 alternative is the 6800 non-XT. The only problem with that card is that it looks to be too expensive. Although all three cards do come with 16 gigs of VRAM, which I know a lot of people have been umming and eyeing about 3070s and 3080s, waiting for, 12 gig or 16 gig or 18 or 20 gig variants instead. So that's gonna be an interesting one. I wonder if having 16 gigs of VRAM on the 3070 level card is going to be a enough of a, you know, tiebreaker to make someone go to the 3070 instead. If it has it, great, but not required. Yeah, that's fair. I care looking into for my UE4 game. Fair play. Yeah, so what do you think of the 60, what's it called? 6800 non-XT. What do you think of that $579 price tag? Is that too high, or does that sound just right? When did they go on sale? That was at the end, which was the XT and the non-XT. Where's the recap bit? Come on, find it. Available the 18th of November. Too much, overpriced? Yeah. A little high, too high. Throw a 6800 XT BIOS on and laugh? Now that could be interesting. 500 will be better? Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. That's what I would like to see, personally. I do hope that they do a, oh, and one more thing, just as it launch, you know, it's 550, it's 500, you know, something like that. That would be good, but yeah. I highly agree, Brian, that there should have been a $200 or $300 card. If they'd launched one of those cards with this architecture, but with that lower end, I know that all three of these cards are probably very similar dies, which is why they've probably gone with this, and then they'll launch another one later. But if they'd launched a more mid-range card, the vast majority of people, and I know that there are a lot of people who are really hyped about the 3070, 3080, and to a degree the 3090. I know that a lot of people are hyped about that, and a lot of people are buying them, but the vast majority of people who game play on, you know, what, RX 580 to 2060 kind of, you know, money, that $200-$300 price bracket. And so, yeah, I am a little, I suppose, disappointed, but yeah, be good to see. Etty, so the other, that's kind of the other thing, is that this launch with these three cards are a perfect match for what Nvidia's done, which means AMD is following what Nvidia is launching instead of leading in their own way. And yes, it's really good to see AMD anywhere near the high end. It's fantastic. Although I would like to see that mid-range card, because like I said, that's what everybody has. And it doesn't matter that Nvidia hasn't got that far yet. What matters is what people will actually play on, you know, beyond the mindshare aspect. Was shopping for a 3080 now seriously considering a 6800 or 6900 XT? Yeah, fair. Yeah, well, I would totally agree. No low-end option. Will it come later? It will come later at some point. We're probably looking at, what, end of Q1 next year, so February, March time, I would hazard a guess at. But yeah. Zach, so yeah, like I said, the last time they launched graphics cards, they pulled the whole, oh, by the way, the pricing that we did in this sort of launch event, oh, it's actually cheaper now, you know. So I'm hoping that that's available. Want to know the release date on that shirt? I bet you a whole load of people are excited about it on the Discord, on their subreddit and stuff. Yeah, that'll be fun. Yes, so Etty, all of their benchmarks were with the auto overclocking mode enabled and on a Ryzen chip with the Infinity, the shared memory. So yeah. The numbers were compared to a 2080 Ti, which the 3070 is similar and the 3070 is cheaper. Yeah, so that's the thing, is that the 2080 Ti is very similar in terms of performance to the 3070, with the 3070 being probably slightly faster overall. So it's probably a similar match there. Yes, Mr. Solo, that it probably very much is, because the new PS5 is a Ryzen chip, or for all intents and purposes, a Ryzen chip and one of these Navi GPUs all on one board. So any of the learning that they can take from making both of the consoles, in fact, all three models of consoles, they will benefit from that and take whatever they can. It's funny, I actually answered a question literally last stream saying, is there any benefit having an AMD CPU with an AMD GPU? There's no tie there, right? And I was like, no, there's not. But now there is. Also, to answer the question, that shared memory thing, what they said was any 500 series motherboard, which means you're wanting Ryzen 3rd gen or the new 5th gen chips that are coming out in a few days. But as long as it's on a B550 or an X570 motherboard, and sounds like as long as that's had a BIOS update, you will then be able to, get that option available. Smithy, the 6800 was compared to a 2080 Ti, likely because the 3070 hadn't been released yet. Obviously, technically it came out yesterday, but obviously Nvidia wouldn't be sampling AMD a card, and I'm pretty sure that consumers still haven't got a 3070 yet, even if you bought it from Nvidia's website. So that's why they had to compare it to a 2080 Ti. But yeah. I think it matters if these are actually available. Yeah, that would be an interesting one. To see, I suppose, just how much stock is being made available. I'm still with Team Green. Don't know whether to try and get a 3070 tomorrow or wait next year for a 3080. What do you think? So the 3070 looks to be plenty performance for the vast majority of people. Obviously, it's a reasonable amount cheaper as well, so that's a nice benefit. Plus, you do actually have well, I say that, you probably don't have a hope in hell of getting one tomorrow, but you might actually have a chance of getting one in the not too distant future if you try, first thing, tomorrow when cards are released, rather than when, just waiting out for a 3080. What was that? Saw 6800 that it was listed as a 3070 at the bottom. Okay. Well, my browser crashed, so I'm gonna check through where they launched the 6800 and see, because I remember seeing it as 2080 Ti. 4K 60 was 2080 Ti. Yeah. I'd be very surprised if they did compare to a 3070. Yeah, no, so they compared to a 3090 and a 3080 and a 2080 Ti for the three models of cards that they were talking about. $1,000 to 6900 XT is in a safe position if Nvidia launch a 3090 Ti. Yeah, true. I mean, what the 3090 currently is, what, 1400 or something crazy. So time to four-way crossfire the 6900 XTs. Oh, if only. So Zen 3 and overclock to benchmark, and it can only trade blows with 3080. Possibly. So it's likely that they're using one of the new 5th gen Ryzen CPUs to benchmark both cards. But yes, all of the benchmark numbers that I saw. Oh, actually, hold on. So the 6800 XT did have Rage Mode and Smart Access Memory enabled. There will definitely be a 12 gig 3080 Ti now for a 999. Yeah, I think there will be. It's probably going to be a little while yet, but yeah. Any idea how this release will affect older GPU prices? I don't expect the prices to change on the new market. It will be the used market that will change mostly. What price would you pick for a 6800 and 6800 XT? Well, the 6800 I think should be what, 500. That would slightly undercut the 3070. If it was like 475, for example, that would really undercut it and would be, if it is performance capable, performance comparable, undercutting them on price and availability would be a very big deal. For the 6800 XT, I'm honestly forgetting already how much they said it would cost. I want to. What was that? 7? Nah, brain's gone. I'm searching for it, but I can't remember, so you'll have to remind me. Games. 649. Yeah, 649. So with that card, that one's comparing to the 3080, and so 649 is a pretty decent undercut, if I remember rightly, because I think most of the 3080s are up near like £800 at the moment. I don't know if that's off tier pricing, you know, like lack of availability, stock shortage pricing or not, but yeah. Yeah, so the pricing goes, the listed pricing goes 549 for the 6800, 649 for the 6800 XT, and 999 for the 6900 XT. Get a used RX 480 instead. Yes, definitely. Because neither of those cards are great. 700 plus on clockers. Yeah. The 3070 is a better deal than a 6800. Don't need 16 gigs of RAM for 1440, right? As far as I'm aware, you don't. It's kind of hard to tell, but as far as I know, no, you don't need to. The only thing will be, what you call it, if they do bring the pricing down before launch, then it could be a better deal. 8 gig of RAM and 3070 is rough. Yeah, true. Especially for higher, you know, resolutions, 1440, 4K, but yeah. Nice one, generously buttered. Sadananda? Sorry I said your name wrong. Buy a RX 480 instead used. It will be a much better deal. Of the best card, GTX 1050. Nice. Yes, they are factory overclocked, as are most cards. AMD now reports what they call game clocks as well as boost clocks. So the game clock is the clock speed that AMD reckons the card will sit at the majority of the time while gaming, whereas the boost clock is just the maximum that it will hit stably and for a very short period of time. Yeah. Interesting. I wonder if they just got a pre-briefing or not. Grant, I'm not sure which stream you were watching, because the cards aren't significantly cheaper. They're not much more performant. We need to wait for benchmarks for that, and while the power is going to be very interesting, yeah, we'll have to see. When will AMD be releasing a successor to the 56 and 5500 XT cards? My guess would be the start of next year, say like February, March, if I had to guess, which I am. The 3700X, so from their wording in the video on the stream, their wording was any 500 series motherboard supports it, and you can set that up. So I don't think the CPU is a very significant limiting factor. It's just if you have a B550 or an X570 motherboard, then you can use it. No worries, X Velocity. Catch you later. There will be the usual live stream tomorrow at 8 PM UK time if you want to come back and ask any questions. Same goes for everybody. If you have a 3080, yeah, I don't think you should be worried. I don't think you should be looking to sell one if you already have one, especially if you actually have one. Unless you can, sell it on eBay for a significant markup and then get one of these and, then you've made some money, right? But, yeah, I think if you've got one of the new cards, one of the new NVIDIA ones, you don't need to worry. It's more which one of these do you go for when it comes to upgrading your current system. Oh, thank you, Zach. I hope you enjoy the Moneymen Discord chat where we mouth off bad things that normal people don't get to see. Yeah, thanks. Also, I was gonna, how much have I missed of the stream? Would you do a quick roundup? Sure. So the AMD stream is done, but the long story short is there's 3 new cards: the 6800, 6800 XT, and the 6900 XT at $549, $649, and $999 pricing wise. What do you call? What else? The performance seems to match up with the NVIDIA card, so the 6800 matches the 3070 in theory. The 6800 XT in theory matches the 3080, and in theory the 6900 XT matches the 3090. Although all of the cards have 16 gigs of VRAM, and all of the cards report significantly lower power draw, according to AMD, all that jazz, than the NVIDIA counterparts. Well, the 3070 only needs one 8-pin, I think, roughly. So that's 150 plus the 75 in the slot, so they're about even. The VRAM is GDDR6, not 6X. Grant, so yes, at that very high end, that does certainly sound like a win. How many people are buying that card? So yeah. No worries. Yeah. Something I bought a 10900K a few days ago is a good choice. If you want to run one of these cards, then you will probably want a Ryzen chip. It seems like the smart memory access feature is going to be an interesting performance and potentially, I suppose, usability benefit. But since you have a 3080, yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it. No worries there. Price in the UK, I'm guesstimating here, but probably in the neighborhood of what? So $549 is probably going to be £530, assuming they stick with this pricing. $649, so probably £630, and $999 is probably 950 pounds. Sapper, yes, system looks good. Yeah, it's like the CPU is probably on the tighter side in terms of performance, but it's certainly fine. Will Smart Access Memory work on X470 after the Zen 3 BIOS update? Now that's an interesting one. I actually don't know. That's hypothetically it could, but it will. I'm quite unsure about what the BIOS update will enable on those 400 series boards. I'm kind of interested to see if it will enable things like PCIe Gen 4 on a B450 board with Zen 3 or a Zen 2 or Zen 3 chips. That will be very interesting. But yeah. Grant, I don't think you know me very well. Yeah. That's not exactly my regular language, and if you watch the NVIDIA stream, then you would know that I said very similar things about NVIDIA. Wait for benchmarks, and like, there are some good points and some bad points. You don't have to cry about it. I feel like the smart memory thing is something that needs 500 series motherboards as it works through PCIe. Yeah, so that's what I mean, is that the way that AMD designed the CPUs is that they're just system on chips. So it's the CPU that handles pretty much all of the PCI controlling needs. The only reason that the chipset is there is basically just as a PCIe switch for all the other things that are connected to the motherboard, and to effectively just multiplex all of those extra inputs. So the hypothetically the B550 boards, as far as I'm aware, there really isn't anything special about those that is actually different from a B450 board physically. I think, as far as I'm aware, it's software side only kind of thing. Did they announce a date? Yes, November 18th for the 68 and 6800 XTs, and then I think it was like December something or other for the 6900 XT. Let's skip a bit. No, skip too far. 8th of December for the 6900 XT. Do you think they will drop prices? I hope so. Whether they will or not is probably a different question, which will be a unfortunate one. Oh. Should I upgrade from my Ryzen 7 clocked 2700 clocked at 4 GHz on an X470F? I think we need to wait for benchmarks with the new CPUs. Going with a 3700X would be a very nice upgrade for you. You would get some more performance, even playing at 1080p or even playing at 1440p. That would be a reasonable upgrade, and of course you would get PCIe Gen 4 and all that kind of stuff. But if the new chips are as good as they say they are, then that could be an even more compelling upgrade later. Plus, if you were to upgrade your board to, say, a B550 one, then you could get this smart access memory feature on top of that as well. Jim, you are very right. I do hope that they drop the price a little bit to sort of close that door. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the benchmarks are like, to see how it compares to the cards now that, because this is a pre-recorded presentation, so all of the benchmarks that they'll have done with the 3070, thank you very much. The 3080 and the 3090 will have been on relatively early drivers. So with a newer driver version that will iron out some bugs and generally give you more performance with those cards, especially launch cards. So it'll be interesting to see how that compares, I suppose, real world. in general, AMD does a reasonable job at their like on-screen benchmarks. They tend to do a pretty good job. I mean, they even showed a what was it, -3 FPS loss in Battlefield 5 with the Ryzen CPUs. So that's they're more honest than most, but as with all companies, independent journalism is still very, very valuable. Do you think that the tech syncs with the new CPUs are worth it and will be worth it, or is it a gimmick to sell new CPUs? So the interesting thing that I saw in their graphs was that they combined Rage Mode and the Smart Access Memory together when they showed the benchmarks, and they were only showing on average like 5% more performance, and that's with auto overclocking. So I'm not sure how much actual benefit that will give you. Plus, they were only showing it at 4K, because my assumption would be that extra memory allocation would be to help, say, preload things into system memory, then into VRAM, which would only really be overly useful when you have a high utilization of that RAM, and when you have 16 gigs of it on all three cards. I think unless it's the 6900, you probably won't really make use of that. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see for sure. Can I do testing? If I get them, yes, definitely. But if I get them is probably the biggest asterisk, because I confirmed that unless I get unless I get lucky, basically I'm not getting those new Ryzen chips pre-launch, which is a bit of a shame. Yeah. Right. I am going to disappear, but I have usual stream live streams at 8 p.m. UK time, so that will be 8 p.m. UK time tomorrow. There will be a video talking actually about the 3080 on Friday, so feel free to stick around for that. But yeah, if you got any questions, feel free to jump in the chat next week, or jump to the Discord if you want to chat there. That's linked in the description down below, and thanks for watching. We'll see you later.